Welcome back, everyone. So for today's video, we're gonna see other installment on how to improve your pieces, how to improve your position, and we're going to focus more on how to move the queen or how to improve the queen, which can have different options, different functions, not options, different functions on the board, right? One would be as leader of the attack. The second is maybe we can have it as a battery, as a supporter of other pieces. In this game, black just play d4. So we have to make a decision here, and we can either move the queen somewhere, queen f2, queen f3, those two moves are very good, or we can also go for the simplification. But when we have an advantage on the board, we don't really want to simplify. So for example, we can take this pawn, just to clarify here, this one is hanging, this one is hanging, right? So if we take, they can take back with the rook, we can take the knight, and now they can offer the trade of queens. And if we go here, here takes, this is more of a drawish position. So now, why is white better? Let's go back. White is better because this bishop is great in this diagonal, right? As opposed to the other bishop, which is terrible. I have ideas of f5, for example, maybe g5 at some point, and they don't have the same moves, right? They don't have, even though it's kind of a symmetrical position, even though we have opposite side castling, that, yeah, they don't have this move, for example, b5 or b6, b4. It's gonna take a long time. Okay, so simplification is not a good idea for us. That's why we're gonna move the queen, queen f2, and then we have ideas of queen h4, and then hitting this pawn. Okay, so what happens if they take? If they take here, d takes on c3. Okay, we can just take the knight. Knight to b4 was playing the game. That's not the best move in the position, but I'm gonna show you what happened in the game. This was Boris Spassky playing with white versus G. Kaplan. I don't know who is Kaplan, so I'm sorry. Knight to b4, and then I can sack the bishop. We have tactical opportunities here. We bring the king out. Now we give a check to the king with the queen, and this is lost, right? This is lost for black. It's terrible. Okay, let's just go back here. Knight to b4 was playing the game. Instead, they can play g takes on f6, for example. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, here. Yeah, they can take the pawn. Okay, we take this pawn here. Knight to e7. And now the idea of rewriting this knight is to protect this diagonal, which is still losing. We still bring the queen, so this idea remains. Knight to g6, we can sack the bishop or just trade the bishop. No, it's not a sack. And this position is still lost for white, right? Because for black, because these pawns are going up, and yeah, we have this threatening rook and the queen. It's still losing. Yeah, it's still completely lost for black. Okay, let's see another example on how to improve this queen. But yeah, I think the lesson to be learned is you don't want to simplify too much when you have better pieces and you have a better position. Simplification only helps the person who is worse, in this case black. Okay, just to start with this position, black has less space, right? And it's a really close position. I also have a video about it where I explain how to win close positions. I love this type of positions because you can outplay and outsmart your opponent, especially if you want to be patient, right? But sometimes you just have to play it even if you're not patient. So in chess, right? So I'm not really patient in life. Now, you might notice that this open file is owned by these two rooks. So I'm gonna read you here the notes I have. Another common task for the queen is to control files and diagonals, alone or accompanied by other pieces, normally the rooks. Okay, in this case, our idea is simple. I'm gonna bring my queen here into the game. So first, just play rook 1 to h2. White is clearly better thanks to his space advantage, but how can he make progress? h2, rook, so we move the rook, preparing queen e1, So queen e1, queen f1. I think the computer would even approve queen d1. So anything is fine here as long as the idea is the same, right? The idea is gonna be, I'm gonna triple up, I'm gonna have the triple stack, three pieces. And it's not that clear how to make progress when you make computer moves, for example. So here, what black wants to do is keep his pieces on this file, right? Protecting the knight. So queen f1, for example, king e8, and it's gonna be a really passive defense. They cannot do much about it. They cannot move the knight. This bishop is dead. Like everything is dead. The only pieces they can move is these three. Queen h1. We continue with our plan. Queen c7, knight to f1. We can't reroute the knight. Queen b7. And they have to make weighty moves. There's nowhere to go. Now rook to h5, rook to c7. But if you keep running and you keep analyzing and thinking with the engine is gonna find ways to just, okay, I'm gonna move my rook here, back and forth, and I don't care. So everything is fine. What do you do in those type of positions where it doesn't look like anything can be done? Well, I think you have to be as sharp as attack and identify the few weaknesses black has. So rook to g7, for example, and yeah, black is good. Here, there is one sneaky move we can make because this bishop was protecting this diagonal, right? So if they happen to move rook to g7, okay, I'm gonna try to sneak in. But if they go back, it's like, oh boy, that's not even. Yeah, I have to move my rook and I have to go back. Okay, yeah, you have to be really aware of what is happening. But maybe this might be an idea, right? I'm gonna try to sneak in, although they can just trade. But just as some concept here. What is the other weakness for white? Sorry, for black, is this pawn. If they undefended at some point, maybe I can even sacrifice the rook and win this pawn. So even though the computer approves, let me see down the line, knight f3, rook c7, protecting the pawn, knight to h6. Okay, I'm gonna hit the rook here, rook to d7, knight to h4, rook to d7. Okay, and this is a good move. Okay, this is still a good move, rook d to e7. But he forgets about the defense of this. So best move in the position would have been to protect again. Kind of repeated moves. And rook sorry. Now we can even sack the rook. Or not, that's not a sacrifice, but we can just take the exchange. And if they take, now we are taking the pawn. And we are opening up the position. So let's say they trade the rooks. We can take back with the queen. And they attack the knight again. We can just take with the bishop. And we are opening the position. Well, we are infiltrating. We are making progress. And yet, they still have no moves. Like this, the knight is still bad. The bishop is still bad. These two pieces don't have nowhere to go. So here you have to be really smart and try to exploit the few weaknesses they have. They don't have much, right? They don't have. It's not like they're completely lost yet. Even though the computer says 5 plus 5, yeah, we have almost like a rook, but it's not super clear, right? You have to find this, in this case, these tactical opportunities, or the other concept I was showing you before. Maybe you can try and infiltrate in this position, but it's still not that easy, is it? Okay, now in this position, what would you play with white? Feel free to pause the video. You have seen 2 examples by now. This is about moving the queen. Where would you rewrite it? Where would you put it? Okay, I hope you found this move, queen e1. Okay, so this was playing the game. And the idea behind queen e1 is I'm gonna put my queen here. And it has 2 purposes. I'm gonna mention just one for now. Is to target this long diagonal, right? I'm supporting the bishop. I have a battery here. And I am attacking all the black pieces on this side of the board. So that's great. Now, what was played in the game was b6, which is kind of kind of like the worst move they could have made, because now I can go here with tempo and attack the pawn. I'm gonna go backwards a little bit. Queen f1, best move in the position for black is to play b5, kicking out the bishop. And now I have to move my bishop. I still have a slight advantage, but I don't have as much, right? Because then I have to move my bishop somewhere. They have something here, right? They have this alignment of the pieces. So, okay. b6 was played in the game. And after queen f2 supporting and attacking the pawn, they have to do something about it. This idea remains. The best move in the position is to go here, b5, still attacking the bishop. I still have to move it. The black ignores that. Black goes very passive. They defend the pawn, which is really strange. It's not good. Just not so. And I'm gonna tell you now why. Spoiler alert. Okay. If they try to protect with this pawn, then this pawn is hanging. Yeah. They have to do it with this very weird rook. And now, as I always said, okay, now we have good pieces. Let's go for a pawn break. Okay, we have f5. So that was the other purpose of putting the queen on f2. Not only attacking this diagonal, but also supporting the advancement of this pawn. So now f5 is very dangerous. And this rook, as I was saying before, this is really odd. It's really weird. Now I'm threatening to play, for example, bishop f4, right? That's very like this alignment of the pieces. Okay, now the game goes on. Queen d8 was played because they know of this threat. f4, f takes on a6. We can get rid of the pawns, get rid of the bishop. Now I can give a check and win the pawn, and white is winning. Okay, so yeah, just think about how to reroute your queen. Don't be afraid of making retreating moves, because sometimes that's the best move that you can make. Alright, this one is a simple concept from one of my games. Never forget the function your queen has on the board, or your pieces, right? But in this case, I knew what I was doing and I forgot. I think that happens sometimes when you get distracted or you are just not that really smart. Okay, so knight h5 was playing queen g6. Okay, so I knew my queen and my bishop had a function protecting this pawn. They cannot take because I can take twice, right? I can take 2 times. And then I forgot. I just play queen d2 because I didn't really see any other moves. I didn't want to reroute my knight, but that's the best move. I should have gone here and maybe even go after this pawn. But no, I forgot. And I play queen d2. Sorry, queen d2, that's a blunder. Because they can take. If I take here, they take. And my knight is hanging. I have to move it anyway. So I am just down a pawn. Alright, so yeah, never forget what the function is doing, the queen is doing, and the rest of your pieces. Perfect, guys. So let me know if you have any questions, any requests, and thanks for supporting the channel. I will see you in the next video. Take care.